Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. Do you ever get annoyed at your power company emptying your bank balance? What about the effect that your power consumption has on the world around you? Well, I got to be honest and say I've thought about these things on more than the odd occasion, and so I wanted to actually have a look at seeing if I can do something about both. So in the previous video I went through the planning stages of how I was going to go about doing that. This time around we're going to have a little bit more a look at how I'm actually putting it into action. So let's go. So like most people in Australia, me and my wife are constantly looking at our power bills, our power usage, to see if there's ways that we can reduce our consumption. Now, I've just been reading a bit of an article that I found about the average household consumption in Australia, or the average household power bill in Australia. And it works out, it seems that for a family of 4, you're looking at around about $2,100 a year, give or take a little bit. So that means for my family that we are over the Australian average, because our bills are working out, depending on how much we use it and the time of year and whether we're at home a lot or whether we're out a lot and things like that. So, there are a lot of variables to think about. But anywhere from about $2,400 to $2,800 a year. So we're definitely on the high side, and I really want to work on bringing that down. The other part of it too is that that impact on the environment. So yes, it has definite impact to our pocket, which we feel every quarter when that bill comes in. But the other thing that you don't always think about, and I think a lot of people really do forget, is how that power is generated. And here in Australia, and particularly in Queensland where we live, the majority of power is produced by burning coal. Known by most of the world over to be one of the worst ways to produce power, one of the dirtiest ways to produce power, one of the most polluting ways to produce power. And I find that really bad. That here we are in Australia, first world country, and yet we're burning coal to produce power, and particularly here in Queensland where we have so many sunshine hours. I just find it insane that we are not producing more power via solar. But anyway, I could go on all day about the virtues of solar versus coal and all the other various kinds of ways we generate power around the world. But I guess really that's good topic for another video. So as I said, the two main reasons for wanting to do this little project is to reduce our expenditure, save a little bit of money, and to try and reduce our impact on the environment. And in the planning video I made last time, I came up with a few different ways of being able to achieve those two goals. So, the obvious ones is to change how much power we consume, so change how we use our things. Also to not use them so much at all. And then the other option is to just turn them off. And it was this turning them off aspect that really I thought is where it can make the biggest difference. And so what I'm going to do is measure our power consumption before and after a week. And I've taken a couple of readings in the past at a few different points in the last year to sort of be able to compare to. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to measure this across a week. So I'm going to take a power reading, and then obviously 7 days later, take another power reading and see what our consumption is for that period. And then compare that to the 2 weeks last year that I took readings. Now the other thing I can also do there is to, with a little bit of calculation, to figure out what those costs would be across a quarter and annually, so that I can then look at our power bills, compare, okay, well this would actually put us on track to save quite a bit of money, or maybe not quite as much as I thought. So I'm really interested to see how that pans out. So in that previous video, as I said, I went through how I was going to go about doing this in a little bit more detail, and how I categorized different things around the house as to how I might be able to change their usage, turn them off completely, or just not use things at all. And you can find that video, I'll link to that in the description below. So have a look at that. It's I think quite helpful on how I went about figuring out how I was going to go through this. Okay, so what I've got up on the screen here is basically just a little map I made to help me figure out how I was going to divide up the power requirements I had amongst the various power boards and sockets and things I've got around the house. So as you can see in the top center here, we have our home theater, and this basically falls into what I've called category 1. So in the top right there you can see the little box that says states, and number 1 is off unless being used. So anything on this chart that is number 1 is not being used at all most of the time, and so will be switched off. And then whenever we do need to use it, so for example we watched a movie this afternoon, we'll turn everything on, watch our movie, turn it all off again, and it'll stay off until the next time we watch a movie. So there's I think some good savings to be made there. The second category I created was switched off, items that are switched off daily. Now that sort of constitutes probably the biggest category for all the different things in the house. There's the time capsule, which as you can see is in category 3, which means that will always be on. And the drawing's not quite correct, because I have actually put that time capsule on its own dedicated surge protector, single socket surge protector, plugged into the wall, and that will remain on all the time. Because it's got a hard drive in it, and I don't want to run into any issues with that hard drive being suddenly stopped and started, turning the power on and off. It doesn't have a shutdown procedure built into it, so when the power goes off, that's it. It loses power, and vice versa when it comes back on again. In the little box here in the middle, at the bottom, I've got items that I have removed. So in the process of changing things around on power boards and sorting things out, I have removed these items completely from our setup because we don't use them anymore. So there you go. That's how I'm going through this process. And obviously the goal is to try and save some money and reduce our impact on the planet. So as I said earlier, I'm going to record the meter readings before and after a week-long period, and then we'll make some comparisons, do some calculations, and see how much power hopefully we are saving. So that's all I've got for this one. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you get back here again soon. Remember to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment below, let me know what you thought of this video and any ideas you might have on this topic. And if you've got some of your own experiences, pass them on. I'd love to hear what other ideas people might have, or what other people might be doing. Lastly, if you know someone that could maybe benefit from this, by all means, share this video along with some of the others. Tell people about the channel. It'll be great to get more people in here and get some more ideas, get some some experiences and things sharing and stuff around all this sort of stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Until then, have a good one and go live a little.